You seem to have forgotten that I am a woman.
Okay then, well let's step it up a notch then.
All right, let's do this dance.
Okay.
All right, welcome back to the podcast, everyone. I am your hostess, Ani Moush, and I wanted to welcome a very special guest and artist today to the podcast, Melissa Dadourian. Is that how you say your last name? Dadourian.
Yes, very nice.
I had another fellow Armenian on the last podcast, and his name was Tigran, but he goes by Tig. And I don't know what it is about Armenian words. I have to say it that way. But welcome to the podcast. We were just chatting beforehand a little bit about where I kind of have been following you from. I moved to New York in 2020, in the middle of the pandemic. And from Boston. And I lived there my whole life.
I grew up around Boston, actually.
Did you? Really? Anywhere around Watertown?
Yeah.
Really? That's where I'm from.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I went to the St. James Church I went to Sunday school there.
Me too. Oh my God. I didn't even know that.
Oh, that's so funny. Yeah. I grew up in Wellesley, actually.
Oh my God. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I wonder if we were in any, we've definitely crossed paths then, of course.
Yeah. Well, when I, went to college, I just had to get the heck out of there. And I wanted the most, I wanted to be in a gritty city, and I just had to be in New York City. So
awesome.
I've been here for a long time.
That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah. The Armenian.
What pulled you here, to New York more than anywhere else?
Well, I went to Pratt in Brooklyn, so that was what pulled me to, in a way, art school. And yeah, I just wanted to be in a place that was open, and I just felt I actually grew up feeling a bit like an outsider, kind of even being Armenian actually was very formative. I formed my identity in some way by being really, nobody knew what that was. I grew up mostly in the late 70s, 80s. And yeah, in Wellesley, in this small, very white town.
Yep.
So yeah, I felt quite outside of the norm there. So when I visited New York City, I just loved how there was all kinds of people. You could be weird. You could just wear crazy clothes, and that's what I did. I was very into vintage stuff in high school, and I just basically wore pajamas to school.
It's who are we impressing in high school, first of all?
But I wore silk pajamas that were from the 40s.
That's so cool. I actually love that. Yeah.
But yeah, so that's funny, the Armenian. And I think even in my work, and we can talk about that, how kind of pattern and color, carpets, and
I can totally see that.
Yeah, that kind of repetition is part of, it's inside me in some way.
Yeah.
I use it.
It's kind of almost I don't know if you feel this way in your personal life too. If I don't have a routine, a pattern that I follow, I feel very out of balance, even if it's just a small thing, but maybe that's the only way that I can also make time to do things for my art specifically with there's so many things that contribute to your time in life. You know what I mean? If you don't have a routine for your art.
Right.
I hate
some sort of routine, or you have you go to the studio 9 to 3 or whatever it is. I definitely like that structure.
Yeah. I was saying, I forget what other episode I was talking about this too. I used to work for corporate interior design and architectural firm for professionally for many, many years.
Mhm.
And that felt weird in a sense because I had to show up and like automatically be creative. And some
Yeah.
days that's just not how that doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
not how my creative brain works.
Yeah.
And now, like, you know, over the last couple of years, thankfully, I've been able to start to develop to be actually call myself an artist and
Mhm.
step away from like corporate and do my own thing, which is not everyone gets to do that. And one, because I think some people are scared, but,
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah.
just coming to New York, you feel like it's a different frequency. And I never understood that until I got here, you know?
Yeah, that's so true.
Have you ever traveled to like a city and you're like, oh my God, another life. I lived here.
Yes,
Where?
definitely. Well, like I still would love to live in Berlin. Um,
Berlin. I love Berlin.
yeah, I mean maybe it is similar to New York in some ways, maybe that's why.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I love like so many cities in New
Yeah.
York.
Berlin's a
Uh,
good answer. Mine's Florence.
oh yeah.
I
Uh,
like studied abroad like in design school there. I
like
felt like
like
I
the
lived
city.
there in another life for a long
Mhm.
time. It's so
Mhm.
weird. My parents came to visit me and my mom like I didn't say that to my mom and she said that same exact sentence to me and I'm like, "Oh shit. We
Really?
are from the same spirit."
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I
isn't
love
that
that.
weird?
Yes, totally. I know. There's something about certain places that like you just connect with, or like, yeah, you feel like you lived there in another life, I guess.
Yeah. That same year, like right before I left to study abroad, my grandmother had passed away. It was her mom. And
Mhm.
I wonder if like that had something to do with it because it was kind of in like that
Mhm.
same time span. But
Yeah, the
anyways,
history and like having all of that history, and Florence has like the most amazing,
oh my
you
God.
know, I mean, like museum or the even just like the Duomo and the architecture and
I
walking
just
around the
like
little streets.
how you can wake up at like the ass crack of dawn and then watch people open their shops with so much pride. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Just like their
Mhm.
storefronts are their everything and like it's just not the same like you know everywhere. You know what I mean? Like I
Yeah.
just really enjoyed just watching that and walking by, but
Yeah, like kind of like that appreciation for the everyday, and the everyday is like so beautiful.
yeah.
So, you know, and yeah, I think that's part of also some things that I really enjoy about like domestic kind of life or domestic things
Mhm.
and objects. Like it's another kind of way of like heightening that every day and like have putting life into you know everyday objects. Like you know,
Yeah.
like you see a guy who's opening his store and it's
Yeah.
like a very special thing and
Yeah.
but it's
It's part
like
of their routine, but that's beautiful, you
yeah,
know?
yeah,
It's cool to see how like souls interact like that. I just love that. I just think that's so cool.
yeah.
Yeah, anyways, so
Just like
you
right, all of that awareness is like beautiful, and I hope that yeah, I want to be more like that myself and like you know step back. And I think also in my work I think about those things like
can we talk about your work? Oh my God. So
I'm
you are a string girl.
string girl. Well,
There's
actually,
so
so
many things though,
yeah, my
right?
string girl name is my work used to be. Well, it's sort of like I go in cycles. So I used to make these installations with string and pins, and they were basically contour drawings of playgirls, like Playboy centerfolds from the late 60s, early
That is
70s.
so fucking cool. Oh my God.
Yeah, that was like and I did paintings like at the same time. So that's what I was that was like a pretty big body of work. So but then like then I worked with like string and fiber painting on other fabrics, but like it kind of evolved a little bit differently than that. It's not just like I
Yeah.
sort of like got into like geometry and like feminizing geometric abstractions. So that's kind of like where I am now.
Cool.
But like the figure is maybe like easing back in some way. But that's where String Girl came from, the name at least.
Really cool.
The name is from, but yeah.
I was admiring your work. Like I was looking, sort of at your portfolio and different things I have out there, and your naming structure is also really cool.
My titles?
Yeah, I think they're really fun.
There are a lot of them. I steal them from New Order New Order title.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I love New Order, and like a lot, like they just make sense to me, some of them. So yeah.
Do you have like a specific, like, do you put on like specific music or things like when you're working on either particular like series or just like all the time?
I actually I listen to books on tape actually a lot. Books on tape, whatever, audio.
Yeah. Yeah. I still call them too.
Yeah. I listen to a lot of audiobooks. And then like, 80s music. So but I go through phases with like music, and then audiobooks or podcasts. Sometimes even I got kind of burned out on NPR like all the time. So maybe that's just like my morning. So yeah.
Try comedy.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Very cool. I feel like sometimes I tried doing this series once. It's an ongoing series when I feel like doing it, if you have those, where I will paint to like a whole album. And I started doing that on old records.
Really? On top of the records?
Yeah. Like I like, to prime it and then do stuff on top of that. And now I started like collaging on records to whatever the record is. So like my mom had just had these like really old ones from, like her childhood, and she was gonna throw them out. I'm like, this is such a cool, I don't know. I like the roundness of the record and the canvas. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like a weird surface to play around with.
It's fun. I like it a lot. I don't know. I'm working with it. And disco balls have been a huge thing with me lately. I don't know why.
Wow. Yeah, like giving yourself those limitations can be a fun challenge,
Yeah, every now and then. Sometimes I need to do like work with a different medium to like I call it like artist block. You know how like just to like get my groove for like something else if I'm like bored on something, because like something's not working if you're bored on a project that you were once excited about.
Oh my God, yes.
How do you feel about that? Do you like go through that? Like,
oh my God, I actually I get bored pretty easily. So sometimes like I like that's why I kind of bounce around sometimes. So I have multiple ways of working, so I don't really get bored. So like I use the knitting machine to make some of my pieces. So that'll be like I'll go through like a week where that's all I want to do is like make work on my knitting machine.
Yeah.
And like this week I'm mostly painting. I'm like screwing around with like sewing pieces of fabric together, and then I'll like paint, and then I'll sew like the painted stuff on. Like I'll just like it's a struggle too. So like
there's layers to this.
Yeah. I'm like actually scared sometimes because I'm like, I don't know if this is gonna be the right move. Like making art is like all these decisions that you need to trust yourself with.
Yeah.
So
I started doing this kind of insane thing. Well, like, I don't know, whatever. It's an exercise, I guess. But I've started where like wherever I make a mistake, like that's the starting point.
Yeah, I love that.
You know what I mean? So that like I intentionally make
allow yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy. It ends up working out, but whatever. Like worst case, you just like got a bunch of emotion out, and then you're fine.
Right. Yeah, but you just have to like allow that to happen. And I'm like, it's okay. Like just throw it out there. And then sometimes the best things happen when you try to fix your mistake, you know, like when you try to go back in.
Yeah.
For me, at least, I'm like, I always have to keep reminding myself that though. Always like, it's okay.
It's not
This
the end
isn't,
of the
this is
world.
not
Keep
precious. Just,
trying.
yeah. Yeah. It would be actually a big, like, you know, like a critique that I would have with somebody. And I think like if they said that I'm being too precious about the work, that would be like a red flag for me. So be like, oh, okay, I need to take some more, I need to like, you know, rip that up, or I need to like fuck it up in some way so I can fix it. And then when I fix it, it's going to be
Better.
it's going to be where the work is, you know, or maybe
Yeah.
where the meaning is or something.
That's actually a great way of putting it. And like, it not like better is actually so like generic, but
Yeah.
how
Not
you
better,
described it is beautiful.
well, yeah, I try to not be precious so that I'm more free, you know, because sometimes the
Yeah.
work makes itself, for me at least, and then I, you know, just kind of like uh yeah, you have to just move things around. That's why I kind of work well with collage in a way, in a collage kind of technique. So like it's a little bit less of a commitment because you
Yeah.
can like move the parts.
Yeah. That's how
um
I felt about interior design. That when you're doing a floor plan, it's really kind of like two-dimensional, like
oh yeah.
collaging in a way, I guess. Yeah.
Mhm. You have
Mm-hmm.
to like, yeah, understand space, and yeah, that's true. I
Yeah,
think
and
I would suck
priority.
at interior design, but
Oh my God,
yeah,
it's a whole monster.
yeah, yeah, with color and, you know,
Light and everything.
psychological stuff too.
Yeah, exactly.
Hmm.
Speaking of, actually, going back to
Hmm.
my point, where I originally found you from
Oh
was
yeah,
the mural you did for the
yeah,
Roosevelt Island pool, the Manhattan Pool project on Roosevelt Island.
yeah,
How did that come about? Like, how did you do that? That's so cool to me.
yeah.
Mural,
That's like,
large
yeah,
scale mural is like such a goal. I've done one, like for somebody personal, and then
mhm.
that was it. And like, I just think it's so cool whenever anyone
Yeah,
does
it was like super fun actually. I was kind of didn't really realize what I was getting into
Oh my God.
because it's huge.
Yeah.
It's an 8,000 square foot uh surface. So
Wow.
like I just
Right.
I hadn't, yeah, it was like I actually hadn't visited the site before I started doing the you know, proposal.
Hmm.
And
Ambitious.
yeah, it kind of is
But who
yeah,
cares? It's so cool anyways. Like it doesn't
yeah.
matter.
But I
Yeah.
did, yeah, so like working on that, I um like came up with a bunch of drawings and color palettes and proposed them, and it is like a process because
Yeah.
then I had to show it to the architects who then had to present their, you know, like their picks to the owners or the management company, I guess. Yeah.
Hmm.
And so then, yeah, it had to be like approved by different
Oh my God, that's so much
people.
pressure. How long of a process is that from like the moment that you found out like I'm gonna do this, like I'm gonna submit whatever for this, and then I'm gonna
Yeah.
come up whatever, from
Mhm.
start to finish, how long is that process?
Well, I think it was like a month. But it was
Wow,
pretty fast. Like,
that's fast.
yeah, it was pretty fast. Like sometimes those things are good to do fast,
Yeah.
you know, because otherwise, like, yeah, you would just be like,
thinking
about it, but it was like, in a way, that kind of the way that I work in like a collage way. So it was like taking shapes and then, having color relationships. So, and like creating spaces. So like an interior space, you walk in, you have areas, and it was fun to think about, the sort of immersive experience instead of it being just like a thing to look at. Yeah, you like walk in, you step on
one
a
color
triangle. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so cool. It's so colorful, and like especially for a pool in the summertime that's like outdoor. That's people are gonna be just loving that. Just that warm.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I was like thinking about. Like playful spaces.
Very citrusy. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
like yes, totally like
Love it.
playful colors and fun, summery.
Yeah. I'm gonna put a picture of it right here for everyone to see when I edit.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, no, it was really, really fun, and hard work, actually, physically. Like we busted our asses.
And I was looking at you have a highlight on your Instagram that like sort of shows the process a little bit too. And your crew, you had like 4 people.
Yeah, I think it was 5 of us.
Oh my God.
It was a lot of paint too. A lot of
Was it
paint.
people that you got to select, or was it?
Yeah, they were like, yes, my friends.
And what good friends, dude. Ride or dies. Let's go.
They were like also really experienced. Some of my friends like are. Do you want to
shout them out? We can shout them out on this podcast if you'd like.
Oh yeah, we could shout them out. Okay. Yeah. Well, one of my friends, I have my girlfriend, Kristen Mills, and Sarah Heineman, who paints for Solowit, and yeah, and so cool. Whitney Chandler, who she also is like, she's actually not really an artist, but she's just really, really creative. She's a yoga instructor.
Awesome.
And Yvonne Olivas, who also does some Solowit painting too, but she's just a great art person. So
cool.
Yeah. No, I was so lucky to have them work really hard, really long hours.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Our feet hurt, our arms hurt.
Everyone deserves a massage afterwards.
Yeah, and we never even got to go in the pool.
Oh my God.
The pool was not filled at the time, so.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
have you gone back since?
No, unfortunately, no.
Yeah, it's like a work site at this point, you know what I mean? But
I should have hung out at the pool, but then I never did, and it was COVID, and
that's true too. I mean,
so it lives there.
That's great. Your legacy lives with all these lovely ladies. That's great.
I know, right? Yeah.
What are you working on now? Is there anything like that anyone should like tap into or follow you about, or like, are there any particular projects that you're like really excited about that you're working on?
Well, I'm gonna be in a show in Marfa, Texas, at this new gallery called Jeff.
Wow, cool.
It's gonna be really fun, and I want to go. I'm hopefully going to Marfa. That's the plan.
Cool.
So I've never been there. I've always wanted to go there. So
very cool. If you send me the link to that, I can put that in the description of this podcast.
Cool.
So people can check out more of your work.
Oh, good. Yeah. I have the work made, and we're gonna send it, and that's gonna happen.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Very exciting. I usually do like a small accountability segment at the end of this podcast. And it's where I either like throw something out there that I want to like manifest, or like it's sort of my report to the audience of like what I did for my art this week that I was supposed to do, that I said I was going to do. And then, I mean, if you want to throw anything out there too for yourself, no pressure, but you of course can. I'll go first. So I between this recording and the last recording, I haven't done much. Only because my last recording was yesterday. So really this was a tricky one. So I'll be honest. But what I'm manifesting that I'm going to do is to be more intentional this upcoming week with my time and my artwork so that I can just have better time management because I'm doing a lot for a lot of people and I need to make time for my own artwork. So what should be up there by the time up on my website and all of the places that I always talk about on this podcast, by the time that this podcast is up, you'll see you can still join my monthly candle club, the LITTY committee, where once a month you get a new candle that I make myself, and it has artwork of mine on the label. That's still going strong. I just sent out the first batch of them today. Yay. And also look out for the tray bouquet, which is if you are a bride or somebody who has a bouquet of flowers that you want to commemorate in some special way, I'm making them into beautiful feminine trays. So hit me up. I have links. I'll put them in the description of this podcast. So I'm manifesting that I'll be accountable to my time.
You're good.
Thanks. It doesn't always work out, but I have to throw it out to the universe. Yours does not have to be that long if you want to throw anything out.
Oh my God. I have so many various things going on. I can't even like think of, I have 2 kids who I have to deal with and I'll give a shout out to them because they'll be really excited, Izzy and Valentina.
Awesome.
And so that, yes, I just need to follow all of their shit and do lots of stuff for them.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I appreciate your time so much. Thank you for coming on. And thank you, Haus. I'll see you next time.